Disney has gone beyond woke. I can't fully explain what it is that they're doing or I'll get canceled because mentioning certain facts out loud these days is a very dangerous thing to do, but I'll show you what it is that they're doing and you can see it for yourself and you'll get the picture. Leaked footage of an executive meeting that they just had about the Florida Parental Rights Bill or the Anti-Grooming Bill, or which the Marxists call the Don't Say Gay Bill, was just posted online by Christopher Rufo. He's the guy who's been putting a spotlight on critical race theory, which again is just a fancy term for anti-whiteism, and recently I had a nice chat with him about using the correct terminology, so hopefully he'll start doing that. But he obtained this footage of these Disney executives in their meeting where, and this is their terminology, they say that they're going full steam ahead with the, quote, gay agenda. Here's Disney's diversity and inclusion manager Vivian Ware explaining that the theme parks no longer refer to people as ladies and gentlemen or even boys or girls because of the gender non-binary children that may be in attendance.
Last summer, we removed all of the gendered greetings in relationship to our live spiels. So we no longer say ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. We've provided training for all of our cast members in relationship to that. So now they know it's hello everyone or hello friends. And we don't want to just assume because someone might be in our interpretation, maybe presenting as female, that they may not want to be called princess. So let's think differently about how do we really engage with our guests in a meaningful and inclusive way that makes it magical and memorable for everyone.
That's nothing. Here's Disney production coordinator Alan March explaining that the company is dedicated to producing new cartoons for the kids, which include gender non-conforming and bisexual characters.
Yeah, I've had the privilege of working with the Moon Girl team for the last 2 years, and they've been really open to exploring queer stories. And so I put together like a tracker of our background characters to make sure that we have like the full breadth of expression. And we got into a very similar conversation, Carrie, of like, oh, all of our like gender non-conforming characters are in the background. And so it's not just a numbers game of how many LGBTQ plus characters you have. And so kind of the only way to have these like canonical trans characters, canonical asexual characters, canonical bisexual characters is to give them stories where they can like be their whole selves.
That's still the tip of the iceberg. Here's Disney's president of general entertainment content, one of the highest level executives in the entire company, Carrie Burke. She wants at least 50% of all characters to be LGBTQIA+ or racial minorities, which in California, New Mexico, Texas, and Hawaii would be white people, but of course she's talking about people of color.
I'm here as a mother of two queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. So we had an open forum last week at 20th where again, the home of really incredible, groundbreaking LGBTQIA stories over the years, where one of our execs stood up and said, you know, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what? That can't be true. And I realized, oh, it actually is true. We have many, many, many LGBTQIA characters in our stories, and yet we don't have enough leads.
None of this is happening organically. In a previous video and in my book, Hollywood Propaganda, I detailed the existence of what are called social impact agencies or lobbying groups in Hollywood, which organizations literally pay to lobby writers and producers of TV shows and movies in order to convince them to insert certain messages or plot points or characters into their projects. Just like wealthy organizations hire lobbyists in Washington, D.C., hoping to get them to reach members of Congress to convince them to either introduce legislation or vote certain ways, those same people are pulling strings in Hollywood in order to shape our culture. Because, like Andrew Breitbart said, politics is downstream from culture. Meaning if you can first change the culture, then you can easily change the laws. Which is why the city of New York now legally recognizes 31 different genders. 31. And now the culture has changed so much in America that teachers are making young students participate in gay pride parades as they march through the hallways. Like this one in Austin, Texas, which featured a bunch of drag queens to perform for the children. 10 years ago, this would have caused a national outrage. The teachers would have all been fired, their licenses revoked, and nobody would have allowed them around children ever again. But because of the endless bombardment of propaganda through the liberal media industrial complex, this is now seen as, quote, normal. Which is why Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed into law the anti-grooming bill, which forbids teachers from indoctrinating students with sexual or gender identity propaganda from preschool through 3rd grade, which doesn't go far enough, but at least it's a good start. I'm sure you've seen the backlash, and the real question is, why do so many LGBT teachers want to talk to elementary school kids about sex? All they wanted was the right to get married, they said, but now they're trying to convince elementary school kids to experiment with bisexuality and trying to stigmatize heterosexuality, just like they are stigmatizing whiteness. Being straight is now considered to be homophobic. Nickelodeon is introducing drag queens to kids. Same with Blue's Clues, which had a drag queen singing about a pride parade. At this point, it isn't even about transgenderism. When I was addressing the city council meeting, I mentioned that there are over 57 different supposed genders, and that wasn't hyperbole. I said that because years ago now, Facebook literally updated their gender identity options from male or female to 58 different genders. There are now even gender non-binary teachers who are making TikTok videos explaining how they came out as gender non-binary to their students.
A 4-year-old in my class today was naming all the girls in class, and then she said my name. And I just tell her, I'm not a girl, don't include me. And then another 4-year-old whipped around, like, mixed kid is a people. And another 4-year-old at a different table looks at her and goes, they're a they. Made my non-binary teacher heart very happy today.
That's why I think trolling city council and school board meetings is the best genre on YouTube, because it's extremely effective in shining a mirror back on society in order to wake people up about what it is that's going on, because obviously most people have been asleep at the wheel while the liberals were driving us off of a cliff. Maybe it's time everyone started attending local school board meetings on a regular basis, not to mention following your kids' teachers on social media to see exactly who these people are and what kind of content they're posting. To support my work, order a Free Speech Zone shirt, a warning contains facts and opinions, some may find offensive shirt, or any of my awesome designs from my online store at markdice.com, or click the link in the description below. Of course, all available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below and check them out.